Ian, we have a Patreon poll topic.
You go to podcast. You go to
you go to podcast.
You go to patreon.com/CU podcast. I post writings. I do a monthly hangout. The big thing is you can get the whole uncut podcast.
Pat might show up to that hangout.
Yep, Pat might show up to that hangout because I set my alarm improperly. Thanks, Pat. I appreciate it.
Don't give me shit for Tetris 99. I help you out. Anyway, so here's the topics. We had the lowest percentage, I think, of a choice ever at 6%. Can AEW compete with WWE? I'm not saying the fan base doesn't like wrestling, but the Patreon fan base does not like the Patreon listeners are not like the wrestling.
I mean, we get told that under no uncertain terms whenever we cover wrestling.
But then other people say cover wrestling. So there's a hardcore people that always
I feel
like wrestling.
that's the same people.
I feel that when we put podcast topics out with wrestling, and at least in the past, someone got a lot of views because wrestling fans were just finding them. Yeah, that's what happens. Sure. A second in place, hanging on like a bad zit. What would the CU podcast look like without Pat? That's going to get chosen one of these weeks. And
just put it up against two more wrestling topics.
Yes. And number one, 58%, Reagan-esque. What games are you blinded by nostalgia for? Another nostalgia topic. Ian, what games are you blinded by nostalgia for that you think the average gamer or person would not think it's a special game?
For me, that would probably be stuff like Rockin' Cats.
Rockin' Cats, but it's not a terrible game.
It's a good game, but I go back to it and I'm like,
there's problems with it you don't like?
Yeah, there's issues with
it.
That
That arm mechanic isn't the best.
And it's a great game, but I mean, that's definitely nostalgia. Another one for me, I'm thinking of like rental. A lot of these for me come from rentals or good memories as a kid. No, but Tom Sawyer is a good game. It's a good game. It's precise and action packed.
3 stars according to Certain Andy's guidebook.
However, Karate Kid's another one.
Okay,
for me. And Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle is another one.
I like that game.
It's a good game. I mean, I would feel safe recommending someone Rockin' Cats or Bugs Bunny's
but not
Crazy Castle.
Karate Kid.
But not Karate Kid.
No, you don't.
Karate Kid is definitely a blinded by nostalgia.
That's a problematic game.
I love that game.
There's charm to it. You can buy a graded one right now in Heritage Auctions.
Yeah,
it's like $22. I saw it.
And then Skater Die 2 is one that most people don't like because the story mode is awful. But that, to me, that half pipe that makes up for all of it. That half pipe is so fun.
What's the one that I'm nostalgic for? 720. If you want to think of games that have to do with the skateboard, it's not the best game. The NES one is a little rough. Arcade is fun with that joystick, but they're really not. They're more style over substance. So Skate or Die. 720. It's really style over substance when it comes to that game.
I like 720, but I think I just like the open world. I played it enough to get decent at it, and then I enjoyed it more.
I'm decent at it.
But honestly, it's no fun if you're not decent at it, and practicing enough to get decent at it isn't a good time.
There's a learning curve to that game.
Yeah.
I would actually argue that it's probably even harder on the NES because to do the spin in the arcade it's a lot easier with that circular joystick.
Exactly.
But the NES one, it's mostly the same game on the NES.
But you rotate with your thumb, which gets a lot harder.
Yeah, that's a game we're learning. Once you learn how to play, it's like, okay, it's not a bad game, but I'm blind by nostalgia because more the style, at least in the arcade.
Now, it's a fun game, but I do think you might be slightly blinded on Golgo 13.
Oh,
Is that safe?
Not slightly blinded at all. Again, very adult themes. There's some espionage, there's some twists and turns to the story, and it's a multi-genre game, Ian. You think I'm blind a little bit? Just a little bit?
Just a little.
What would you give it? 3.5 stars, not 4? Give it 3.5?
I give it 3 to 3.5. Yeah.
3 only? Wow.
3 to 3.5.
I don't think I'm blind.
3 is a good game.
I am blinded by nostalgia for Three Stooges.
Okay, yes. Okay.
I think I can only give that 3 stars. Not glowing review. I could have gave it higher if I was totally for the book, but I love that game because I love Three Stooges, but each mini game is just so not slapped together. It's the tone of Three Stooges, and the mini games come from the series, but it's not. You can't recommend that game to a huge amount of people to play that game.
Certainly not one to buy brand new.
Not using your allowance at Electronic Boutique. No,
Right.
for $59.99 with tax or whatever.
Didn't
no.
you say you went there to get a different game, but they didn't have it?
No. I never said that.
Oh, okay.
For that game.
I mean, I knew you liked it, or I knew you
No,
wanted
I
it.
saved
but...
up specifically for that game.
Oh, okay. That's what I meant to ask. Like, was it specifically for that?
Only because it was a one picture in Pack Watch the year before.
Oh, Pack Watch.
It was like Pack Watch. I want to say it was like November of '87, and then I waited like 9 months to get the game, or whatever amount of time. It was forever to come out. That game. Trying to see any other ones. I think Ian's a little nostalgic for Clue Land, just a little bit.
It's fair. I love the game,
That's
but I
your
mean,
Three
I'll
Stooges.
say it's fair.
And then no, Commando's still a decent. That's a good game, Commando. It's good. One of the original run and gun shooters. And come
Doesn't
on,
mean anything.
even you don't like the arcade one.
The arcade one's fine.
Tons of guys coming at you. Not the NES. NES one's garbage.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
comparison.
Arcade one's fine.
No, I get the NES better than average rating, but no. But that's
It's a
but
rough port, man.
the guys disappear because I did a whole review on it. Might want to check it out. The guys disappear when there's too many guys on screen, which is funny because like they'll just keep throwing guys at you. The game doesn't know that maybe we should wait till some of the guys are killed to add more.
Yeah, just keep
So
throwing them at
guys
you
and then
to the
disappear.
point where it looks like you're trying to fight ghosts.
Yes, you're
It's
fighting
nearly
ghosts.
it's so hard.
I think Ian's nostalgic for Deadly Towers.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
Absolutely. Too nostalgic for Deadly Tower. I'm just going through a list of games here that I think people are a little too nostalgic for. Wally Bear, Ian. Now, Wally Bear is a game that...
Oh, I love Wally Bear, but I'm not going to tell you that's not nostalgia.
So you played that growing up?
That's one that I mean, at this point, I'm
Early
old enough
collector.
to have
Nostalgia
for my early collecting days, and that was probably when I was like 16.
But there's enjoyable parts of it, but it's not a good game. It's a little rough. It's a lot rough.
It's one of the most skill-based games ever created.
Skill-based games. So is Action 52. 1.5 stars according to a certain NES guidebook for Wally Bear. Getting behind a charm alone. It didn't have that charm. It would drop even lower to probably a 1.
It didn't have that wallpaper. It might have...
The wallpaper? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
in the house.
Yeah, the eye-searing fucking Apple wallpaper.
I have nostalgia for, they're not good, the Super Nintendo WF games because that's all you had.
Yeah.
So, especially the first one. The first one was terrible. Super WrestleMania was awful.
Yeah.
No options, no special moves for your guys. All the guys kind of had the same body shape, so they try to put a gut on Earthquake, but he's still like the same body shape. He's in the ball, so it doesn't work. By the time they got to like Raw, like the third or fourth game in, they figured some stuff out. It's a much better game, but that's all you had growing up. You didn't know any better. You had that or Super Brawl, which has some problems as well.
Yeah.
So we didn't have Fire Pro, but I was like, oh, we played that game at my friend's house because we loved WF, and that was like to you the best WF game you could possibly play. You couldn't get WrestleFest, in the arcade.
Right.
You couldn't get that in a console. So yeah, any other ones that you're nostalgic for or no?
Gangster Town.
You're nostalgic for Gangster Town?
Yeah.
It's a very good Zapper game, Ian.
Yeah.
It's a very good one.